As whitetail hunters, our season doesn't end when a date on the calendar says it ends. We reflect on the past, on the successful hunts, and maybe more so on the failures. We are constantly planning, seeking new ways to gain an edge over a creature that always seems to be one step ahead. We walk many miles in the spring looking for remnants of bone that let us know he still haunts the timber. It carries on through the summer, hours of hard work and sweat, countless hours practicing and preparing. It all leads up to this moment, the moment when the only thing that lies between you and success is the flight of your arrow.
Hey guys, welcome to Extreme Pursuit Outdoors, and this is the very first episode of our 2014 deer season. So join me on my very first hunt, opening day, September 27th.
Outdoor edge, my friend.
Could have just made a commercial right there. Well, it's just breaking daylight. September 27th, the first day of bow season. We're in Meigs County, Ohio. And this is actually the first time I've ever missed the opening morning of the West Virginia season. But I'm not going to complain too much because I'm in Ohio, so I'm pretty pumped. I'm set up in a little drainage. It leads to a pond. Back behind me to my north, there's a bunch of hardwoods. So I'm hoping to catch these deer coming back into these ponds to bed. But I'm pretty excited. I'm going to be pretty picky on a buck, but if I get a nice big doe in here, I'd like to take one out. So we'll see what happens this morning. I'm excited to be in a tree. How's that for an opening morning? Yes. I had a bunch of turkeys in here behind me and I was watching them. And I heard something walking up here and I looked and there was 2 deer coming in. Well, just got down. I got a bright red arrow right here and a dead deer laying about 50 yards away, so let's go get her. Man, what a fun morning in the tree. Had action from daylight till the time I shot this girl, which was about 7:30, 7:45. Had a bunch of gobblers in behind me making all kind of racket, and had this doe and another one sneak in, and she came in and just gave me a perfect shot, 15 yards, and put a perfect double long hit on her, and she went 50 yards. Great way to start the 2014 season. Shooting the new Hoyt Factor this year, and man, it worked just perfect. DCA Hunter arrows with a dirt nap DRT broadhead. It put the hurting on her. So we had a great time opening weekend. I took down a nice doe on camera, and now it was time to focus on a buck. So we come to the weekend of November 7th, and the rut action is starting to pick up. Back in Ohio for a few days. I rolled in last night. I really didn't know where to hunt this morning, so I just picked this stand. I've hunted it a couple times now and seen some deer, but really don't know what's going on with the rut. I haven't seen any chasing yet. But just hoping that any day it'll bust loose. Hunted here last weekend and saw some smaller bucks. No shooters yet. But I'm gonna put in a solid 4 or 5 days hunting. See if I can't get it done.
It wasn't long after daylight when I looked behind me and saw this buck in the pines headed in the opposite direction. So I threw a couple grunts at him, and he turned around and came into 25 yards, but he never did come into my shooting lane for a clear shot.
I'm back in for the afternoon sit. It's about 2 o'clock. Took me a little while getting set up. I checked 2 cameras on the way in, and the daylight activity on the bucks has definitely picked up. A lot of decent 8s in the daylight. Actually, the buck I saw this morning, I got him on camera right down here at 9 o'clock this morning, so he's traveling this whole property. As I got down out of the stand this morning, I was kind of sneaking my way back out, and I saw a deer up ahead of me, and it turned out it was a big one too. So the deer are definitely on their feet.
Meh.
is that same buck that I've seen twice now. And after watching the video of him this morning, I was kicking myself for passing him up because he's a nice buck. Man, he tried to duck at the shot and I spotted him. Daggone it. He's down though, he's down right there. That's a really nice 8-pointer. He's definitely not the biggest buck in Ohio, but my wife told me today that our baby is actually coming a little bit early this year. We're expecting a baby girl in December, and she went to the doctor today and they told her that she was a couple weeks ahead of schedule, and I really don't know how much more time I'm going to get to hunt. And this is actually my last weekend that I was going to get to hunt before the baby comes, so that buck come in, he had my heart cranking, so I decided to take him out. And I got it on video, so. Oh man, that feels good. That's a lot of hard work right there. Went into that deer. We just got this lease this year and put a lot of work into it, a lot of effort. Seen some good bucks, starting to see some better bucks, and when I drew back on him, I just went into autopilot and that was it. So that's my first Ohio buck, and I'm pretty freaking happy. I just got down to him. Pretty deer, really nice deer. That's actually the biggest deer I've killed with a bow. Well, here he is, my first Ohio buck. Pretty solid, nice 8-pointer. He's definitely not the biggest Ohio buck, but I am pretty daggone happy with him. I actually passed this buck up. I think it was the 3rd weekend of October, the first night that we hunted. He come walking in 15 yards and I wasn't sure about him. Passed him up that night, and then actually this morning he come in again, and I thought that he looked pretty good. He was actually a little bit bigger than I thought he was. And I really didn't get a chance for a shot this morning, but went back out this afternoon, complete opposite end of the property, and about 4:30 or so, I saw a pretty big body deer walking in to this little brushy field, and I got the camera rolling, got my bow ready, and he went up in the pine trees and I grunted at him, and he ended up coming right back in, and I noticed that it was this same buck, and I drew on him and talked myself out of shooting. I let down, and then he come in even closer, about 20 yards, perfectly broadside. So I told myself if I can get the camera on him, if I can get my bow drawn back and the pin on him, I was going to kill him. So he stood there just a little bit too long. We've had a real good time over here so far, just getting to spend time together and hunting together and doing all this work, putting into this place this summer, and it's been worth it so far. It's been a lot of fun. We've had some good times over here, and we're not done yet, so